What's up guys, this is Miasin, and I really wanted to go over what happened at YCS Orlando because I actually played in it, and it's a YCS that, as you can probably tell, was a little dominated by Ryzeal and Malice. You can kind of argue that it's a tier 0 format at this point, even though it might seem like Ryzeal was less than 50% in Top Cut. It was actually more than 50% because Mitsurugi is Ryzeal. It's Ryzeal featuring Mitsurugi and not the other way around. The Mitsurugi engine is very minimalistic in the deck, especially with Steven's Decklist, which we will be going over in this video right here. We will be going over as many interesting decklists as possible, and also give you guys my insight and my experience on the event. But anyways, before we go any further, you already know the drill. Smash the like and subscribe button, and also a huge massive shout out to my CRYSTRON spreadsheet. This time I will not be plugging in the ad, but if you are interested in, mastering a very interesting deck, and also the deck that I played at YCS Orlando, I really recommend checking it out. The link, rather the steps to buy it and the specs of the spreadsheet will be at the top of the description box below. So you already know what to do. With that being said, let's get right into it. Alright, so first things first, in the top 64, we had 29 Ryzeal, which includes pure Ryzeal and Ryzeal Fiendsmith, but also we had 7 Ryzeal Mitsurugi, which translates to 36 Ryzeal out of 64, and my maths are really bad, so I'm actually gonna have to take my calculator for this. 36... hold on a second. No. Did I just say 36? Yeah, 36 actually. Never mind. I'm not that dumb. Divided by 64 is 56.25% of representation in Top Cut for Ryzeal, which is ridiculous. It's completely broken. And then in the second, spot we have Malice, which is 19 out of 64. That's maybe like 30%-ish, kind of. Not really, actually. I think it's a little less than that. And yeah, no, not even remotely close. Hold on a second. Whoa, yeah, it's no, it's actually 3%. I was exactly there. I actually said a random number. It was, you know what? That's the reason why I'm the best, and you gotta smash the like and subscribe button. But yeah, Malice is actually doing much better in the OCG, in the TCG than it is in the OCG, even including the new wave of support from Alliance Insight, which is very traumatizing, and it really goes to show that there's way less diversity in the TCG than in the OCG, just because every deck that isn't like the best deck, there's pretty much no reason to play them if you're trying to win. But if you're trying to have fun, then go for it. And there's also a lot of other cool strategies. But when you're playing a huge event that is a best out of 3 with no max C, obviously the combo deck is always going to be the best. It's really sad to say. But again, if you want to be creative, then there's obviously other options. It's not to say that this is the kind of format where there's only 2 good decks to play. There's still a lot of interesting decks, and again, that is the reason why I played CRYSTRON, and I think it was a great deck for the YCS, and I really don't regret it. So I do have my my results somewhere. I kind of forgot, but whatever, it's not really relevant. But yeah, like I said, I played CRYSTRON myself. Round 1, I lost a pure Ryzeal. I got 2-0'd. I only summoned 2 monsters the whole duel. Sometimes that's how it goes. And then round 2, I played against Dinomorphia. I won. Round 3, CRYSTRON mirror match. I won again. Round 4, it was against Ryzeal Fiendsmith, if I recall correctly, or something like that. I won that one. And then round 5, another Ryzeal Fiendsmith. I lost that one. And then another Ryzeal Fiendsmith. This time I drew against that one, or maybe the other way around. I drew and then I lost. And then I played like 5 Ryzeal Fiendsmith in a row for the rest of day 1, and I beat all of them. And then round 10, so round 1 of day 2, because yes, I did the day 2 with CRYSTRON. I played against another Ryzeal Fiendsmith, but this time I lost. And just in case you're wondering how many times did I get Lancia'd, I got Lancia'd 6 times in the span of 6 consecutive matches. Yes, it was not really enjoyable, because every single time I was getting Lancia'd, it's always when I'm going second. Every single freaking time. It's never on my first turn when I don't really care about it. Every single time I was like, oh my god, I have no problem getting Lancia'd here. I don't get Lancia'd, and then I get hit by other things. Or I just win because I'm going first, and then, I'm going second, and there's a big board, and there's Lancia on top, so I really don't understand how some of these Malice players managed to, make it all the way down to, like, top 4, top 8, but, shoutouts to them. Obviously, shoutouts to Jeff Jones, shoutouts to Jib. Malice is an extremely powerful deck, and if it doesn't get Lancia, then I want to say it's actually even better than Ryzeal. But yeah, the event was won by a great friend of mine, Tavion, so it's really funny that I actually playtested a game against him before the YCS started. So again, I played CRYSTRON, he played Ryzeal Fiendsmith, and it was like down to the wire. So yeah, this deck is like super grindy, just in case you also had like no idea how it played out. And he's also playing the double Requiem, which is not that interesting considering the fact that Julian also played a double Requiem, and it's actually more popular than I thought it was. But yeah, nobody really has the exact same side deck. Like Tavion sided like 2 Solemn Strike, and then Julian had Ultimate Slayer, which is not as popular as I thought it would be. And then yeah, Molchimi Nialis, or Meows, whatever. Yeah, this card is in pretty much everyone's side deck. I think people are finally waking up to the fact that you need a lot of cards to beat Malice. You need Meows, you need Lancia, potentially Chaos Hunter, because that deck, if you let them play, you just lose the game. Like the baby handshots like Imperm, they're not good. Obviously Nibiru is great, Fueros is great. But yeah, Droll and Logbird is also obviously garbage against Malice. Yeah, unless you randomly Droll and Logbird them on like an engage searching, you know, like a Hornet Drone. So obviously that would be decent. But yeah, no, it's really impressive to see, I was gonna say to see Ryzeal Fiendsmith do this well. It's actually not impressive at all. But yeah, it is really nice to see my friends succeed. Again, every single freaking YCS is always won by a friend of mine. I'm just trying to be nice too, you know. But yeah, Jeff Jones with his Bestial Malice deck, main decking Shifter, which is not the kind of thing that you always see. A lot of people are siding Shifter or sometimes not even playing Shifter at all. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. And also, this is something that you will notice a lot, but a lot of players have been playing 7 to 9 to even more Bestials in their deck, and every single time they play a high Bestial count, they never play Infinite Impermanence along with it. And the reason for that is because it conflicts with the Bestials. If you Bestial your opponent and then you top deck something on your own turn, it's not really good. The timing for it is also kind of weird, so we are seeing Dominus Impulse instead in the Malice deck, which is funny because against Ryzeal it's actually kind of mediocre. But against the Fiendsmith portion, it's not too bad. And also, maybe in the grind game, it can be really good. Or like when you're going second, you're trying to break a board, your opponent has Nibiru, you can also Dominus Impulse the Nibiru. So going second, Dominus Impulse can just be a very good card overall. And obviously, if you're going first, this card is the closest thing there is to like a Solemn Strike. And also, if you set it, then you're not really locked into anything. Because yes, we have seen a really nasty misplay in Top Cut where I believe it was Jib that tried to use Dominus Impulse from the hand, and then, I mean, he did use it correctly, but then he tried to use, like, Griffin's effect. Yeah, so you can't do that, but obviously, I believe he also used, like, an Impulse before that was set, and obviously that would be legal, just because it's not the exact same. But yeah, this deck list, it's a really good deck list, obviously, even with the Middle Chonius in the main deck, a lot of non-engine. It's just that it's, you know, it's Malice for you, right? It's a little boring. I think a lot of people are kind of fed up with the exact same decks every single time. There's like not too many interesting decks out there, but we do have Striker Tenpai Dragon here. And also, this has been seeing a lot of play because of one of my boys. I'm not gonna say who he is, but I think at this point he's pretty well known. This deck is actually disgusting because you can draw 0 Tenpai Dragon cards and again kill your opponent. Because you can go, okay, engage into Hornet into Kigari, recycle back your Striker Hornet drones, and then Makita, crash, and then Surge again, Roku effect, summon, and then Tribute, special summon, like whatever, Chandra, Pydra, attack, game. So it's extremely disgusting, and the fact that you can even beat Ash in the process is absurd. You're playing such a huge amount of board breakers that it's borderline impossible not to see 2 to 3 to 4 of them every single time. And also, you can draw multiple cards while you're killing your opponent. So it makes a lot of sense that this kind of deck does really well. And also, there's kind of like a conversion in the side deck where you play cards that are both going first and second. Because a lot of these board breakers are not actually good going first at all. Like Lightning Storm, Duster, Ultimate Slayer, Afterburner. All those cards are shit. Like Triple Tactic Talons going first is also garbage. Thrust going first is garbage. There's no normal trap card that you can get. But at least there was Dominus Impulse post game 1. So, you know, I think you can see where this is going, but this deck randomly kind of loses to Droll for no good reason, because Tenpai Dragon doesn't lose to Droll, but the Striker cards do. I also find it, like, really poetic how Tenpai Dragon went from a Synchro deck to, like, a Link deck, because as you can see, there's 2 Bident, one Trident, and then 1 Transcendent. Those are the only 4 Synchros, no Kui Belt, no what's his face, the other monsters, all the synchros that the deck used to play, Ruddy Rose, etc. Nobody cares about those anymore. We're only really trying to OTK the opponent with the Raging Phoenix Zealantis package, which is not even here. Or we're really just using, you know, Ultimate Slayer and Metal Chonius, you know, extra deck cards. And at this point, you can even argue that you can even play Ghost Reaper in your deck to, you know, call, you know, Fiendsmith Requiem. That would actually be decent, but I don't think this is really how the Tenpai Dragon deck really wants to play out, just because you don't want to play into your opponent's talent, thrust, or called by, or cross out. A lot of cards that you can dodge when you're playing board breakers instead of hand traps, but it also means that this deck, if you know how it works and how it operates, you make it go first and it kind of just loses, because going first this deck is very weak. And even if you make it go first like post game 1, as long as you're not playing Malice, it has a lot of dead cards. And I wouldn't really feel very confident playing a deck like this, but nonetheless, it's still a really good deck. Okay, a lot of really not interesting decks, so I'm kind of gonna skip over them. Adrian Gonzalez, I'm pretty sure, played pure Ryzeal, which is super interesting. Same thing with Steven Santoli, but unfortunately, I'm not seeing anything super innovative. I guess the ratios are interesting, you know, double cross with one small world, one desires, and then the one prosperity, just so that you have more diverse hands, and then you're really just trying to beat hand traps as much as possible. So 3 talent and then 3 cross out in the Call by the Grave, so 7 anti-hand trap cards, because you don't have a huge amount of starters. So my issue with this kind of deck is that if you brick, you're really far behind. And also it's a pure Ryzeal deck that sides the Plasma Hole, so at least it really does look like an OCG deck list, because in the TCG nobody cares about this card. A lot of the rank 4s are not seeing play, because you can argue that Ryzeal Fiendsmith is more of a link-based deck that can make Detonator and Duo Drive, and Abyss Dweller. That's pretty much it. Nothing else is really worth making, and obviously Evil Storm Excite on Night, because that just goes into Fiendsmith Requiem. And also Briggs Board's going second. Very nasty card. But yeah, no, it's a very annoying deck to play against, because if they draw well, I want to say this deck is arguably better than Ryzeal Fiendsmith, because if they have Ice Ryzeal and 4 hand traps, it's rough. But if they have Ice Ryzeal and 4 Fiendsmith cards, maybe that's I mean, actually that's still broken. That's still broken, never mind. Okay, this time we have a few deck lists that we don't have. I mean, we have a few interesting decks with no deck lists, so I really wish I could go over this Mermail deck list, but unfortunately that is not going to be possible. This is Kastira Fiendsmith. Okay, this we actually saw at, was it the YCS Bologna? That was the deck that won everything with a Magical Musketeer engine. It's very interesting. It's just that it's just a bunch of good cards in one deck, really. That's what it is. But there's 20 plus non-engine in it, you know, Ash, Floros, Valor, 3 Bestios, Renib, 3 Imperm. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18 hand traps with 3 talent, and then a huge amount of Kastira cards, which are very good going first and second. The only issue is the conflicting with the Bestials, but you can make it work, you know. You can make you can normal summon a monster, then make Moon of the Close Sky, and then trigger the Druid's Worm, send the Detonator, and then your opponent is gonna go, okay, Detonator, destroy your Moon, and then you can special summon your Fenrir, and then play from there. So it really doesn't matter too much. So that's really nice. And also the side deck, you know, you get to play a lot of really scary cards. But I kind of disagree with Dimensional Bearer. I think this card is kind of trash, honestly, overall. I would just play a Solemn Judgment while I'm at it. You know, Solemn Strike and Solemn Judgment. Or maybe something else, maybe just another going second card. Could even be Chaos Hunter, I don't know. But yeah, it's a really cool deck. It's just not... It's not spicy enough. It's just... Again, it's just... When there's the Fiendsmith engine running around, you don't have to be creative, which is kind of my issue with the game right now. I want to see decks that are not Ryzeal, not Malice, not Fiendsmith, and, you know, not something very boring. And unfortunately, I was not able to do that well with CRYSTRON. I day-2'd, but not the top. This deck is also super interesting, so shoutouts to Sebastian Sanchez. Yeah, okay, I think there's 25 hand traps or something stupid in here. A lot of Bestials. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 8 Bestials, excluding the Lubellion, because it's not a hand trap, unless you're going first. And then 1, 2, 3, 4... So 12, 8, 20 hand traps, right? In a 42 card deck with a lot of starters. A huge amount of them, because I know, obviously, I played this deck a little bit. It's a really scary deck to play against. And there's a lot of cool things that you can do. Like, for example, the Alexandrite Dragon is the normal monster that you play so that your Dragon Either Barrel is always going to be able to make the Primite Roar live. Otherwise, you know, it's kind of a dead card. You know, you normal summon it, you get your Lordly Load into Roar, and then you just do nothing because you control a monster. So the goal is to send the normal monster from the deck to the grave, and then you chain the Roar, and then it still resolves. So that's nice. Nothing much to elaborate on at this point. You can make a Chaos Angel using the Alexandrite Dragon and a Bestial monster, so that's the reason why it is a level 4 light dragon monster that is being played, and obviously with your level 6 dark, that can make a light and dark Chaos Angel. So everything has been well thought out. I've seen some people play Summon Skull and some other monsters in their deck, which is something that you can do, because Summon Skull is a level 6 Fiend monster for the Caesar. It's definitely not too bad, and you can also make some other rank 6 plays, such as Constellar Ptolemy M7, you can make Goblin's Crazy Beast, you can play Zeus in your deck. So honestly, this deck is really fun, and really just intricate. You know, because it's a mid-range deck. It's not a hardcore combo deck where you're always doing the exact same thing every single time. So you're almost like solving puzzles when you're playing this deck, which is nice. Again, if you're good at grinding with your opponent, this might be the deck for you. And then Trevor, I believe, played a Tenpai Dragon, so that was the second Tenpai Dragon in Top Cut. And pretty much everything else was a little, I don't know, boring. Actually, yeah, Mario also played the Fiendsmith Bestial deck. So yeah, this played literally 25 hand traps. I think I counted 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22, 25 freaking hand traps in 40 cards. And then how many one-card starters? 1, 2, 7, and then yeah, 10. Okay, 10 one-card starters, but whatever. You draw like Veiler or Ogre, you normal summon them, and then you make El Mirage, and then you banish them for the Bestial, and then you make Moon, and then you Fiendsmith combo. So yeah, every path basically always leads to Rome. And when you draw a bunch of Bestials, then I guess it's even better. So this deck going second is even better than it is going first, because going first you might have consistency issues. But every now and then you're just gonna randomly draw the shit combination of cards that don't work, or you're gonna draw way too many Bestials against Malice, and you're gonna be really unhappy. So I think one of my issues is that I'm not seeing enough anti-Malice cards in people's side deck. I'm only seeing Artifact Lancia, and I guess you can say Phantasme is a really good one, which I agree. It increases the likelihood of drawing Nibiru. It's just that if you're not seeing like Meows and Chaos Hunter, maybe you might still lose. I don't know. And Fenrir, by the way, is a great going first and second card, and also a great way to beat Dimension Shifter. So yeah, because this deck, honestly, I don't really think it deals very well with Shifter. If you get Shifter, then your opponent's playing Malice, it's gonna be rough. Whereas if you had Chaos Hunter, then at the very least you can play under Shifter. So actually, that not only it cripbles them, but also it saves you from Shifter. So that's something I think people should consider a little more, because if we're looking at Jeff Jones' deck list, for example, there's no Nightmare Cerberus, there is Nightmare Phoenix instead, which means that if people are summoning Chaos Hunter against them, they really can't out it. It's actually really nasty. So this is something that I think you should probably, I mean, not necessarily like do moving forward, but you could. And also, this is another Bestial Fiendsmith. Hold on a second, there's actually quite more than I expected. Okay, yeah, shoutouts to Sebastian Todd. And this is a Mermail deck list, so this is the last thing that I think we'll be covering in this video right here. So yeah, 41 cards, only one Abyss Shrine, interesting, only one Abyss Spike, so obviously that means no Coelacanth. And one water, one barrier statue with a torrent. Okay, so yeah, you can send this card with I Forgot, and then you can revive it back with this, I believe. So that's not too bad. I really forgot how you're sending this from the deck to the grave. Or maybe you can also special summon it with Prima Donna. But yeah, like I said, my brain stopped functioning. I definitely know that there is like a very obvious combo that allows you to turbo this card out. I've seen it quite a while in my life, and maybe it might be this that can Foolish Recast. Maybe, I don't know, send one water monster from your hand or deck to the grave. Yeah, maybe. Actually, no, that's the effect going second. Yeah, whatever, who cares? But yeah, this deck loses to Dweller. This is the reason why we're seeing Xyz Encore in the side deck. And yeah, overall, this is a very clean deck list. I like it a lot, even though that's like absolutely not the way I was playing Mermail before. Still something to keep in mind. And, you know, I like the fact that there is the 6 Chummies. Pearlia is just a no-brainer in Mermail because it's a water. So, worst case, you draw it going first. It doesn't matter too much. This is not the kind of deck where I play, like, you know, Bestials or Veiler. I don't really think it makes sense. You want to play Ash because it's a defensive card and an aggressive card. You can also use Ash to, you know, negate the Chummies on your own turn. So, it will always make sense. And Imperm can also be used on Dweller if it's just Shotgun and your draw phase or standby. And your opponent does not have Detonator. So, if you force your opponent and he just goes Dweller Pass, then at the very least, sometimes Imperm can help you get there, and Droplet can also help you beat a Dweller. So I think every single card and ratio in this deck list can be justified, and I like it a lot. I don't really know what this card does that is, you know, really worth looking into. Maybe it's a great card, you know, banish a water monster from a grave, and then you basically just add anything. It's just that on its own, obviously, it does nothing. However, if you Pearlia your opponent, you can use this afterwards. And no time cards, maybe? Maybe there's like 1 or 2 that I'm not seeing, but yeah, nobody's really been playing time cards a lot this this YCS. I don't even know if I saw a lot of, you know, Gagak Cowboy, and I think there's been like more draws in this tournament that I've ever seen in my life. It's so impossible to like deal damage when you're in game 3 and there's like 1 minute left on clock. But yeah, whatever. You guys let me know how you like this format in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.